Hello everyone. I just bought this Zenvida chair from Amazon. The price is roughly $280. It's in August 2022, and they give you a two-side arm. It's an instruction, and I having the frame, the top and the bottom. And I also have one piece of wood here. And these are the tools that they gave it to you. A 6 hex nuts and also 6 screw, Phillips screw. I also have the 6 washer. A total of like 7 pieces of the wood. I already putting in like 3 pieces right now over there. And there's also a hex key for you to use. And then I have the cushion, 2 green one. It's kind of smelly when you first open it. I think you have to leave it outdoor for about a day to let all the smell come out. Okay, we'll move on to the next stage. So this is my So here's the assembly instruction. So I am at step 1 right now. On the top, you have the part list for A, B, C, D to G. And then you have the hardware list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in the step 1, your first step is you putting the forward screw through the holes on the B frame size. You look at that, right next to it, there's an A frame and there's a B frame size. And then the second step, which is you see there's a 3X there. You need to put in the Phillips screw. Okay. So there's a Phillips screw that you will put in here. So there's 3 places that you have to install it. It will go through here. And you have to screw it in. There's no pre-drill holes on the other side of the frame. So you need to put it in at 3 different places and use your Phillips screwdriver. So that's your first step that you need to do. So I'm going to finish up my first step. So this is my first step, the step 1. I'm putting the wood screw together between the A frame and B frame, and I push it together. So I'm going to be prepared for my second step in step 1. So I call it step 1B. I'm going to use the 3 screw here, and we're using a power tool and this Phillips screwdriver, and we'll see what happens. So these are the 3 holes I'm going to drill it through. I had to call the manufacturer and they confirm that on the A-frame there is no pre-drill holes. So you have to drill it through. So these are the 3 places that I'm going to install. Hello, yes, I'm done with my step 1B, which is the 3 Phillips screwdriver that I bring it in these 3 holes. So you could either use your power tool or you could use your regular hand tool. So I would recommend using the simple one first and aligning all 3 together before you really tighten them all the way in. So that's finished with my step 1. So I'm putting the A frame and the B frame together. So let's move on to the next step. So in step 2, you will need the hardware 1, 2, and 4. The 1 is the 6 hex nut screw, and I need the washer to go with that. I also need the key for that one. So these are the 2 that I need. Okay, and then we will put in the arm, connecting it with the frame A and B together. So let's proceeding with step 2. So before you install the arm side to the frame. Make sure you remember which side is on top. That would make it easier. Remember, this is the A. The A is the top, which is behind your back. And the B frame is the bottom. So if you could put a label, that would make it easy for you when you're aligning it. So I'm going to find out. There's a 3 holes right here. And if you look at this one, there's 1, 2, and 3 holes. So you're looking for the right arm that you can put it on top here. So these are where the 3 screws will go in. So for the other one, so you can just turn it around and do exactly the same thing. So my next step will be install the 3 screws into the side arm chair. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So here are the 3 screws, the hex nut screw that I'm putting it in. So I have to align it carefully to put it in. I recommend you to just use your hand first before tighten them down. So that's the first one. The next 2 will be right here. You can see it. So it's a little bit loose right now. Okay, so if you look at the bottom here, so those are the 2 and the 1 on the other side. So you will do the same thing on the other side. So my next step is I'm going to screw tight this one in using my hex nut. And then I'm going to do on the other side too. So this is the step 2 that I putting in the 3 hex screw between the A frame to the side arm chair. One of the issue I found is that they are not really aligning well into the holes. So it took me like 2 times to really trying to push it in. I think this could be a minor issue when you're getting into this step. So be careful, not tie them all together. You might have to redo it a couple of times. Finally, I was able to kind of flushing it in. So that's my 2 hex screw, and this is the third one on the other side. So I'm going to finish the other side arm chair. Hello, so this is my final step of both side arm install. So I would recommend you to turning it the other way around, so it would be easier for you to align the holes in there. So I think it's a little bit difficult. Okay. And I also found that there is some gap between my A and the B frame size. No matter what, I could not tighten the screw to really aligning them well. So there's a little bit of gap right here if you look at it carefully. So, but I don't want to do it too much. I could break the wood. So that's one of the issues that I found. So my final step would be putting this wood into the chair, and I think that will finish for installing my Zenvida chair. I make a mistake by installing the 2 side arms in, and then later on try to putting this piece of wood in, which is not right. So I had to reopen it one side and then putting the wood number 5 on both sides of this piece of wood. And now you have to start lining up this one in first, and then putting the screw on the other side. So there's a screw come together with it. I'm going to have to put this piece of wood in, and also I need to using my Phillips screw to tighten this one onto the side here. So that's what I have to do next. A little bit complicated. And then you can, after that, you can install the other side on. So instead of putting the screw when you bring this piece of wood in, I did not do it. So I'm going to aligning my second Siam chair in, so I can put the piece of wood on this side together to make it align well. So you can see that the 3 hex nuts, I'm going to install it too, but I'm not going to tighten it, so let it loose. So it looks like everything is aligning well. Now my final step would be putting the 4 screw in there. You see the first one down here, the second one, third one, and the fourth one. Okay, so I'm going to try that. So before install the last 4 screw, the Phillips screw at the bottom of this one, my recommend is to tie all your hex nuts of the second armchair. So before screwing the last 4 screw at the bottom of the last piece of wood, my recommend is that your second armchair, you should take all those hex nuts in, so it would aligning well before you screw this one in. So my first 2 is down here, then your third one, it will go into this one. I already have it in there. I would recommend you to use in this one because it's quite long. So on the last one, so I'm going to putting this one in here. So you can use a power tool if you want to. So that seems to be this last clip for this one, and I will show you the final version of this one. And I will do some small final review based on what I did. Here is my final products and my review for this one. The wood construction is really nice. I like the color. The top is a little bit stiff, but I think I like it too. And the color is nice. It looks like a green color. But for the assembly, I think it will be a little bit difficult. And for some reason, the frame, the back frame and the bottom one, the base, is not really aligning well, since you have to tight the Phillips screw all together. So I think that the manufacturer need to look into that. Maybe redesign for that one. So other than that, I think this is a good product. I give this one a 5-star for the products, but 3-star for assembly. And so overall would be 4-star. So a little bit difficult for putting them together. About the cushion, so I do not know much about the material. It is a little bit smelly. I hope it's okay in terms of for your health and safety. So this is up. I hope you enjoy my review. Thank you. Bye-bye.